Evening to one and all who have joined us today. So, to people who are very new to Sci Chronicle, let me just give a very short introduction of who we are and what we do. So, Sci Chronicle is a community forum which aims in creating awareness on scientific facts. So, we conduct a series of workshops and webinars which would be beneficial to people in differentiating myths and facts. On this Environment Day, it gives me immense pleasure in welcoming you all to this unique topic: importance of snakes in the ecosystem and snakebite awareness. Each and every organism in this universe has its own role to play, and they are very essential for the survival of others on this universe. This goes very well for the snakes as well. Snakes have been a fear factor and still they are. Yet, looking into the other aspect of conservation, snakes have to be saved and it is the heart of need. So, the resource person for today, Mr. Peter Christopher, is currently pursuing his master's in ecology at Pondicherry University, and he has been involved in a lot of conservation activities, which includes conservation of reptiles since 2016 through Student Sea Turtle Conservation Network, that is SSCTN, and Chennai Wildlife Rescue CWR team with Forest Department. He had worked in snake conservation and snake bite mitigation at Madras Crocodile Bank Trust during the years 2019 and 2020. He is currently involved in reptile conservation through science communication to people about significance of reptiles in the ecosystem and the roles they play in it. Okay, so with this very short introduction, let me just complete this welcome address. I quote, if conserving ways of natural resources go wrong, nothing else goes right. Unquote. I repeat, if conservation or conserving ways of natural resources goes wrong, nothing else goes right. This was given by Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, who is none other than the father of Indian Green Revolution. So on this day, let's try to take small initiatives so that this planet would be safer and cleaner for the future generation. With this, Mr. Peter, the forum is yours.
Clear introduction about me. So it was nice meeting you all in this Good evening to everyone present here on this World Environment Day. I'm glad everyone has come here to know more about snakes. So you might have your preconceived idea about snakes, and like you might have seen them, you might have read about them, you might have heard about them, and you might have seen about them. So today we'll be focusing on mainly the snake bite impact in India, the scenario in India, as well as like why snakes are important to the ecosystem. So the theme of this year for the Environment Day is ecological restoration. So which is like, why does the ecology needs to be restored? I mean like where humans have disrupted the ecosystem. So we'll be looking into it, and why snakes are important, how to identify them, what are the common venomous snakes and non-venomous snakes found in and around our areas, what to do when someone is bit by it, and what not to do. So we'll be looking onto it. So there's not much. Let me not much take time and get into the presentation. So I'm currently doing as she said, I'm doing my master's in Pondicherry, but I've been working in rescuing snakes since 2016, as well as volunteering for assistesian and conserving sea turtles. And mostly my interest is towards snakes, and I worked at Croc Bank, that is the Madras Crocodile Park, and mitigation, the snakebite mitigation project. So where we go and educate people about them, we work with forest and fire department rescuing snakes and mitigating it, and also, regarding to the medical issues as well. So why do you think we need to talk about snakes? Why are snakes? Do you think snakes play an important role in the ecosystem? Like why it does, yeah, but how? Let's keep it interactive for the next 40 minutes.
It helps control. Instead of using pesticides, it's better to have snakes like farm snakes that help you repel pests like pests and rats.
Okay, great. And then any other reasons they play a part in the ecosystem? So if there is not snakes in the ecosystem, will the ecosystem be, in a proper cycle? Like, will the absence of snakes cause a disruption in the ecosystem? Will it cause a disturbance or something?
Yes, sir.
Yes, of course.
There could be an imbalance in another species.
Okay, great. So we'll look into it. So before we get into it, let's see what do you, I mean, like when you think about snakes, what do you feel? Do you feel happy about it? Like, do you consider them beautiful, cute, or do you feel fear, disgusted, and scared about it?
I feel beautiful.
Okay,
And
so
it's
right, I mean,
good
like,
to see. I feel happy.
yeah, it does, but I mean, like in a real, I mean, like in a realistical situation, I mean, like suddenly a
Yeah.
snake gets into your home. So what do you feel immediately? Do you feel that you have to save it from the people, or you panic to save yourself and take
Planning to save
yeah,
yourself.
yeah.
First,
So
we have to save ourselves. Right? Then
yeah,
only we can
so
able to save others. So,
yeah.
so
Okay, I get it.
yeah, we'll
Cool.
try to save ourselves first.
Okay. Okay. So here you can see the small boy having an iguana in his hand, and below that's quoted the difference between fear and appreciation is knowledge. So just simple as that. So from childhood, or like from whatever you studied, read, heard, or seen in the movies, it's all about feeding us with wrong facts about snakes, wrong information about snakes. So it is like I mean, like a wrong perspective about snakes. So snakes play a very major important role in the ecosystem, and they were very important. But since we are taught, I mean, like taught to be afraid of snakes, so we think all snakes are harmful. I mean, like they are no good to us. We feel irritated, disgusted. Like how would they feel and all. So today we'll be mostly be breaking all those myths that you already have. If you know, I mean, like facts about them, great and well. So let's go into them. So snakes are also part of reptiles. I mean, like so they are cold-blooded animals. So they can't uh, let's say can't maintain their own body temperature, and that's why they bask. So what does basking means? So let me give an example. So if you I think you all might have seen a garden lizard. Okay, so you would have seen garden lizards, bobbing its head in the sunlight. Have you all noticed it?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So,
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
yeah,
Yes,
we might
we
have
have.
we might have not seen snakes basking, but we might have seen crocodiles in the river banks on the river beds. I mean, like lying down under the sunlight. You might have seen turtles or tortoises. May even also in the Discovery where they sit on logs. You could have seen lizards, bobbing their head for the sunlight because I mean, like only through the sunlight they can regulate their body temperature, which helps in further metabolism. Okay, so snakes are like animals which don't have feathers or let's say uh, hair like other animals. So snakes body are covered with scales which are smooth and dry. So if you want to know how this I mean like snake scales feel, can you just feel your fingernails, how soft they are? Can you feel it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that's how soft these snake scales are. So these scales are present on the top of the skin. These scales are made up of just like keratin, the protein keratin that our nails are made of as well. Do you guys think snakes have eyelids?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, they are basically shy.
No, I mean, like, do they have eyelids?
Yes, I think.
No, sir.
Yes, sir. There's something
No,
which
sir.
closes during
I think
molting.
yes.
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
No, they
Okay,
don't have
okay.
eye.
Okay, so we have equal answers of yes
No,
and no.
sir.
So we'll see. So snakes,
But they have scales on their eye.
exactly, great. So snakes don't have eyelids, okay, and they have I mean, like they lack external ears, okay. Mostly all reptiles have ear openings. In mammals, you can see we have external pinnae. I mean, like external pinnae is called like the ear that we have, and you can usually see in mammals such as cats, dogs, and squirrels, etc. So snakes and as well as other reptiles lack external pinnae. They have ear openings, but in snakes they also, I mean, like lack external ear openings. So do they hear? Can snakes hear us?
No.
No.
No, sir. No.
Okay,
No, sir.
okay.
No.
So okay,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
Vibration.
Great, great.
With vibrations.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Very good. So these snakes have a small internal ear opening, which is inside. I mean, like in their skull. So when they move on the ground, they feel the vibrations. I mean, like they can, sense it through their internal ear openings. Okay. So snakes also shed skin. So I think you guys, when you're growing up, you might have, noticed the skin peeling out of your hand, maybe or may not. So mostly you would have noticed. So snakes shed skin. This process is called as ecdysis. So how, I mean, like if you ask the question like from when do they start shedding? So when the snake is hatch out of the eggs, so from the first week. So for hatchling, it might be the snake shedding. I mean, like the skin shedding can be like frequent, which is like in every. I mean, like every week they may shed, or like twice in a.
Before full moon. Before full moon, sir.
Not exactly. So it depends on the diet they get and all sort of factors. It depends on it. So like young snakes shed frequently, but as they get older, I mean, like the process takes, I mean, like a lot of time. If let's take an adult snake, it might shed like once in a few months. Okay. And yeah, so all snakes venomous?
No, sir. No. Some snakes are not.
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, not all snakes are
Great.
venomous.
Okay. So there are depending on venom, snakes can be differentiated into 3 types. That is venomous, non-venomous, and mildly venomous snakes. So non-venomous snakes, they don't have any venom. Even if some people get bit due to it, I mean, like no harm can be caused to them. Venomous snakes, they have venom, which is used to catch their prey and feed on them. But accidentally, when people get into situations which put them into getting bit by a snake, it can affect the person and it can also kill them. And there are mildly venomous snakes which has venom, I mean, like, which has a little bit of venom which can kill the prey, but which doesn't cause any harm to the human apart from side effects such as fever, swelling, depending on the immune system of the person. Okay. So on the left, there is an constricted boa, which is restricting the blood flow to its to the heart of the prey, and when the prey dies, I mean, like it consumes it. Whereas in the right, you can see there is a fang. So the fang is connected to a venom gland over here. The venom gland produces venom. That is like how saliva produces in a mouth. No? So that's how venom is produced in the venom gland, which then comes out to the teeth. And this venom, when injected to its prey, it kills the prey. So if you guys might also know, injection was invented by this method. So how like venom comes out of it. Okay. How do snakes smell? They have nostrils and they also flicker their tongue. So do they use their nose or their tongue to smell what's around them?
Jacobson organ.
I mean, like they can smell with the help of an organ called the Jacobson's organ. So if you can see a C kind of curve over here. So snakes, usually you could have noticed snakes flicker their tongue out. So you might have been wondering, why do they do this? But we had, I mean, like you might have had not any idea. So they flicker their tongue out. So the small chemical particles in the air, they get stuck under their tongue. Oops, sorry. So they take by their tongue in, they put it in the Jacobson's organ, which is then connected to the part of the brain, and which tells like what is around them, the prey, predator, also as the vibration and all sort of stuff. Okay. So we saw about common morphological characters about snakes.
Sir,
yeah.
Sir, why they have nostrils then?
Yeah, they have nostrils for respiration. Mm-hmm. Okay. But the Jacobson's organ plays a major role in sensing what is around them. So some we'll also be seeing certain snakes. So I'll also be telling what other or helps them in detecting the prey or predator around them. So we saw the common morphological characters. Can you guys tell me which one of this is a snake?
This is blind snakes.
Okay, which one?
First one.
Okay.
A, B, and C.
Okay. Okay, A, B, and C are snakes. Okay. A, B, okay.
A, B, and C. D is an earthworm.
C.
Okay, great. I was expecting that. I wanted someone to tell.
A, B.
Okay.
D is legless lizard.
Okay, we'll see which one of it is a. Oh, exactly.
A and C are snakes, sir. A and C.
Okay, then we should know what C is. Okay, we'll see which one is a snake. So C is not a snake because most of you told C is a snake. Have you guys heard of Cecilian? Have you guys heard of Cecilian?
Yes, sir.
So you guys would have studied about amphibians. You would have heard newts, salamanders, and frogs. So Cecilians also are a type of amphibian. So they are found in the rainforest. They come out mostly during the rainy season. Okay, thank you for responding. So C is not a snake; it's a Cecilian. B is a legless lizard. So as you can see, it has an external ear opening, which snakes lack. Okay. Uh, Thanks for telling that it's a legless lizard. And the D is an earthworm, like you said. So
Only A is the snake.
A is worm snake. Okay. So it has, you can see small scales in it. Okay. They
Yes.
lack external ear opening. So they also flicker their tongue in this image. I mean, like the tongue doesn't come out. Okay. They have, you can see they have eyes here. So these snakes are usually found in a garden. We'll be seeing about them. Okay, so about basic snake ecology. So we'll see what snakes feed on, like what role do they play in the ecosystem. So what do snakes usually feed on?
Rodents.
Rodents, okay.
Reptiles and mammals,
Birds.
insects, frogs.
It depends upon its size. It will take its reptile.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So
Amphibians.
mammals.
Birds, eggs.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Insects.
Thank you. Okay, thank you for your response. So depending on the size of the snake, like if it's a juvenile adult, and depending on the habitat, I mean like where the snake stays, I mean like depending on if it's like terrestrial, arboreal, or aquatic snake, their diet varies. So the trees, I mean like the snakes usually found in the trees here is in cat snake. It is feeding on a lizard. So these snakes also down also to catch their prey. Snake also feed on frogs. Snakes feed on rats. Snakes are also cannibalistic. Okay, snakes are also feed on their own snakes as well. So snakes can be both a predator and prey. So we were initially asked what role do snakes play in the ecosystem. So here you can see Indian rock python feeding on a rat. So they act as a predator. They have, I mean like their diet varies depending on their habitat, size, and other factors. Okay, they also act as a prey as well. So they are prey to other predators such as kites, eagles, sometimes even jaguars. Jaguars feed on anaconda, caiman kind of, and also birds. Birds can feed on snakes, and the snakes are in the hatchling size. Okay, so snakes play a very important role in pest control. So why is pest control important? Is because rats destroy almost 40% of farmers' incomes. So farmer stores grains, and I mean like once the grains are mature, rats start to destroy the grains in the field as well as where they store the grains. So snakes help in controlling them. Rats, rodents spread a lot of disease which is harmful for humans. So snakes also help in controlling rodent population. Also, snake plays an important role in balancing the ecosystem by being both a predator as well as prey, which is I think you all might know. So there are 300 plus species of snakes in India. Okay, out of these 300 plus species of snakes in India, how many snakes do you think are venomous?
4.
Okay, 4. Yeah, you see, but how many think?
20 are venomous.
Like, do you think like 90% of them could be venomous, or how many?
No.
No, sir.
Okay.
Basically,
I mean, like if you know the right answer, you can just let the others answer. Like, I want to know what you guys are thinking, so we can know about it.
20% are venomous.
Okay.
Major
Okay.
4 venomous.
Okay, so there are from here we'll be seeing the snakebite situation in India. There are 300 plus species of snakes in India, where like 60 plus species of snakes in India are venomous, which is harmful to humans. If people get bit by those snakes, there are possibilities of them dying if not properly treated in the hospital. Okay, so I have just mentioned 4 species. You could have been thinking like he's telling 60 plus species are there, but he's just mentioned 4 venomous species here. So these 4 venomous species of snakes are common all over India. I mean, like which has its own restrictions. Like according to the elevation, they vary. So there are also even in these 4 venomous species, there is like a multiple subspecies in them, such as spectacle cobra. Someone told there's also monocle cobra. In common crate, there are a type of 2-3 types of crate. There is Russell's viper. There is like 2 types of soft-scaled viper. There is one which is commonly found soft-scaled viper, and the one which is found in the desert. Okay. So why are we concentrating on these 4 venomous species? So in India, the snakebite situation is 60,000 plus people die due to snakebite every year. So after COVID has come, we have been seeing like every month or like so far in over a year, like a million people have been dying. So worldwide, 2.5 lakh people are dying, like around 2 to 2.5 people are dying. Around 4 lakh people get due to snakes. Okay, in India alone, it contributes to 50,000. I mean, like 50 to 60,000 of people are dying due to India. Okay, and the major cause of this is because of these 4 venomous species. And when people get bit due to the snakes, which could be like accidental, and the accidents happen mostly in farming area. In urban cities, it is not. It is comparatively less compared to the rural areas where people cannot, protect themselves from snakes. Protect themselves. In the mean, they can't, stop the scenarios where they come in contact with snakes, such as in farmlands, etc. So we'll be seeing about these big 4 venomous snakes in India. So what we'll be seeing the snakes about, how to identify them, where are they found, what are the defensive mechanism they have, okay, and what do they feed on, and such kind of things. So the first snake would be spectacle cobra. So it is called a spectacle cobra because it has a spectacle mark behind its hood. So the immediate defensive mechanism of the snake is to spread its hood and scare away its predator or the danger or any human that is around it. So it thinks when it spreads its hood, it think the predator or someone who's coming to attack it would be afraid because it thinks it has become big, and so they leave it away and it will move. So when its defense mechanism, it tries to attack its prey with its mouth closed in the first attempt mostly. So I'll be showing you that. But when it's been threatened more, and if it feels like so stressed, it definitely this snake gives a bite. So you can identify by the hood mark on its behind its hood. I mean, like the spectacle mark behind its hood. So they also have like scales which appear like rice grains, if you can see in this image. Okay. So these are mostly found in farmlands. I mean, like where there is availability of food like rodents, etc. Rodents, frogs, as well as they're also sometimes find feeding on other snakes as well. Okay. So next we'll see. So I told you they don't strike with their mouth open immediately, mostly. So in this GIF, you can see that it doesn't strike with its mouth open. It is not biting the person actually, but when it's stressed, definitely it will bite. So I told they're found in farmlands where there are rodents. So this is actually a place where the rice grains are stored. So rodents come here. So a farmer is going to take that rice grain, sack, and under it there is a cobra. So this is where these snakes are usually found. And as forests are destroyed, they are converted into agrarian lands, and then agrarian lands are sold. They are converted into urban cities. So cities have been, I mean, like rodents have been, comfortable to set into cities, and hence there is food available in the cities, and they are, the ecosystem of snakes and their prey are being, destroyed. They prefer to come into where we live. Okay. So the next would be common crate. So the common crate is another one of the most deadly snakes that we have in India. So it has a neurotoxic venom, which means, I mean, like if it bites, the person has a more, possibility to die earlier than the other snake. So this snake usually comes out in the night to catch its prey. So when people are lying down, let's say in the ground without any, proper protection such as mosquito nets, they sleep on the floor without sleeping in a cot or covered and all. They have possibilities of getting bit due to the snake. So this snake bite can be so mild that the person might not even know when they're sleeping. So it is a neurotoxic venom which affects the person's nervous system, and it can cause them to die in the sleep mostly. So that's how most cases in India are. Okay, so they can be identified with the double bands in the body, which comes around from the middle of the body till right before the tip of the tail. Also, they have hexagonal scales. Hexagon is like 6 sides. So you can see hexagonal scales which run right on their spinal cord until the end of the tail. So hexagonal scales which helps them identify it. So these snakes are nocturnal. So, you can see they come out in the night to go hunt for their prey. So the defensive mechanism of the snake is when they are threatened, they try to, take their heads under their head and, try to escape from the place as soon as possible. They are not very active in the daytime, and you cannot mostly sight them in the daytime. So in the night, but they are really active. So if they get disturbed easily, they'll definitely give a quick bite. So the next would be soft-scale leopard. Soft-scale leopard is the smallest of these big 4 snakes, the big 4 venomous snakes. So they are, let's say, they're maximum of 30 centimeter on average. So these snakes are found in grasslands, dry lands. They are found under leaf litter. They're found under rocks. They're found under bushes. So depending on the size of the snake, you can see they can feed on insects. They feed on small rodents, and rodents. I mean, like reptiles' eggs as well as such kind of things. Okay, so The defensive mechanism of the snake is to position their body in a S shape. They have like saw scaled, like how saw, when you know use a saw, how it makes noise, no? So they have saw shaped scales on either side of their body. So when they move their body in a S shape, it produces a sound kind of like so that kind of sound is made. Okay, so we'll see how the defense mechanism they display. So you can see how the snake is moving in a S shape. Okay, so though these snakes are small, they have venom capacity which is enough to kill a person. Okay, they also they react very fast, so they can hit their prey in like a couple of seconds. With the blink of an eye, they can inflict a painful bite. And the final one is the Russell Swiper. Okay, this snake is, you can see it is like highly camouflaging. So the defensive mechanism of this snake could be they coil their body and they make a sound like how a pressure cooker makes. So in the pressure cooker, I mean, like when you keep something in the cooker, when the whistle blows, that's how the sound that this snake makes. Snakes can't produce any kind of sound. So when they are inhaling and exhaling, this helps them to produce a sound like that sound is produced. So in the snake, that his sound will be in a more higher pitch. So how can this snake be identified? So they coil their body when they are threatened. They have an what's a chain-like pattern on their body. You can see how camouflaging these snakes can be. So most people die due to this snake bite. This snake's bite. The snake's bite is very painful. It causes swelling. It is hemotoxic. That means if this snake bites, the blood doesn't clot. Okay, and mostly people get bit in the night, even in the daytime, because they are highly camouflaging, as you can see. So next, moving on to common non-venomous snakes of India. So here you can see sand boa, like two sand boas here. One on the left is common sand boa, and the one on the right is the red sand boa. So you guys might have heard. So sand boa brings like a lot of wealth. I mean, like they have been poached, thinking that as they can bring wealth, they've been poached, which is illegal. So they have been told they have two heads. So I can see in this snake, you can see that they seem like they have two heads, but this is a head, this is a tail. So it is also a defensive mechanism of the snake. So when a predator comes to attack it, it hides its head under its body, so it keeps its tail moving. So the predator comes, like let's say a kite or an eagle comes to attack it. You can see the scales in this position. I mean, like this tail is hard, which helps the snakes to escape from it. So these snakes are ovoviviparous, which means they give birth to young ones. Which ovoviviparous, which they produce eggs in their stomach, but the young ones come out. So they are burrows. They're usually found underground. So then there is Indian rock python, which is terrestrial as well as arboreal. I mean, like which can hunt on the ground as well as on trees. They're oviparous, which means they produce, they give birth by eggs. So I told we saw Jacobson's organ. We saw they have nostrils to hunt their prey, to sense what's around them. So some snakes, such as pit vipers and pythons, have the heat sensing pits in their mouth, which helps them to depending on the temperature of their prey, it helps them to identify it. So then there are worm snakes. We saw worm snake in the first question. So there are different types of worm snakes, such as Brahmini worm snake, slender worm snake, beaked worm snake. So these worm snakes are found in your garden mostly. Sometimes they also come inside your home. If there is like huge piles of clothes dumped in an area, I mean, like there's a lot of garbage inside the home. Such things can happen. These snakes can come in because they feed on egg. Ant eggs and ant eggs, and that's why ant larvae, and that's why they can be found. So they look like worms, but they move like snakes. And if you get to watch them closely, they have scales, and you can also see their tongue flicker just like snake, because they are worm snakes. And then there is like aquatic snakes, mostly which are found around the water bodies, such as checkered keelback, striped keelback, and olive keelback. These snakes are found near the water bodies. So usually in the rainy period, you can see these snakes dead on roads, because they try to migrate from one side of the water body to the other side for feeding purposes, for breeding, such kind of activities, and which get run over by vehicles. So these snakes are named according to the pattern on their body. Here you can see the check pattern and then checkered keelback. So though it's a non-venomous snake, this snake is a nasty biter. It can give very nasty bites. Then there is striped keelback because of the stripe on their body. Then the olive color of the snake, you can see that. Then that's why it's named olive keelback. So these snakes usually feed on frogs, fishes. You might have, if you might have been watching some documentaries or something, you might have seen these snakes. Usually you might have seen checkered keelback hunting fishes. Even if you can go and observe in the nearby ponds and lakes during the rainy season. Then there is arboreal snake, which is green vine snake and common bronze-backed tree snake. So these snakes are diurnal snakes, which means they hunt during the daytime. So they can be found sleeping during the night time. Okay, sleeping in the sense just how fishes are immobile while they sleep. If you can observe in a fish tank, and that's how these snakes move to the edge of a branch, and they stay there dormant, and they don't. They sleep in the night, which means they hunt during the day. So the vine snake is a mildly venomous snake, which means it has venom which can kill its prey. If people get bit by it, they can have allergic reactions, fever, and all sort of stuff. So there is a myth that vine snake can poke your eye. So its scientific name is Ahatula, starts with Ahatula. Ahatula means like nose, eye picker, according to a Sinhalese term, but it doesn't pick your eyes. Okay, so it's a myth actually. So they usually feed on lizards and amphibians. And there's common bronze-backed tree snake. There are also a lot of myths on it, but these snakes are these snakes are like completely harmless. They feed on amphibians on the tree. So then there's common snake, which is common cat snake, which is also a mildly venomous snake. You can see they're called cat snakes because of their elliptical eye that you can see. They are arboreal snakes, which feeds on amphibians and reptiles found in the tree, as well as these vine snake also they also feed on birds, small birds as well. Okay, they also come down to feed if they find any prey down on the ground. And then there is like rat snake and common trinket snake. So these snakes are common as well. They feed on rats, and they can hunt in the ground as well as on the trees. And these are called kukri snakes. On the left one is a common kukri snake. On the right is the Russell's kukri snake. They have, you might have heard of kukri knives. So these snakes have kukri-shaped teeth, which help rock piles. They eat also small nocturnal, they live in burrows, etc. Then there is common wolf snake, which can be usually found. A lot of people report these snakes. We found it near a home. We found it inside a home. They're completely harmless snakes. So these snakes help you by feeding on the geckos that are present in their home. So which also keeps in a cycle where lizards come to feed on the insects. And if there's a lot of geckos, these snakes can be found, which in turn feeds on the lizards. So these are wolf snakes. The one on the left is the common wolf snake. The one on the right is the bardal snake. They're nocturnal snakes. So they feed on lizards, and that's why they can make well. And next we'll be looking onto snakes lookalikes. So moving on to snake lookalikes, so a lot of amateur snake rescuers or common people try to think they are helping snakes, and when they misidentify snakes and catch them, which leads to sometimes if it's not a snake, it's fine, but if it's a venomous snake, it is completely a stress to the snake as well as it can take a life of a person. So that's why we're going to look into lookalikes of the big four, like how these non-venomous snakes mimic the venomous snakes. So when seen from far away, a spectacle cobra and a rat snake look alike. So let's say like a few meter distance, they almost look alike. Okay. So, but how to differentiate them in a layman perspective, I'm explaining. So never use it to, catch snakes if you're not a snake rescuer, professionally, or if you're not trained, please don't do it. Okay. I'm just explaining you so that you can stay away from the snake and, save ourselves. So in a rat snake, you can see there are like black lines under their eyes, and in a spectacle cobra, there are no lines found. Okay, spectral cobra can be found in their hood, but when they're hiding in a place where they can't show up their hood, that's how they can be identified. Okay, and also you can see the scales on the spectral cobra is like a grain like. And next, moving on to common krait and bardal snake. So they both are nocturnal. So and look, suddenly someone comes inside of them in the night, they both might look alike to them unless they are clear about snakes. So these snakes, they have, double white bands on the body. They have like a thick band on their body. So they have narrow white bands, two narrow white bands running from middle of the body till the end of the tail. But this one have like a broader band. Okay. And then moving on to saw-scaled viper and common cat snake. So saw-scaled viper are predominantly terrestrial, and common cat snakes are predominantly arboreal. Though due to climatical conditions, they might climb on trees or they might come down to feed. So they both have elliptical eyes, but saw-scaled viper, they position themselves in a S shape. They have an arrow mark or a diamond-shaped mark on their head. Okay, so cat snake has an Y-shaped mark on their head, and they're much more longer than saw-scaled vipers. And then moving on to look at Russell's viper and Indian rock python. Russell's viper are mistaken for sand boas and sometimes also for Indian rock python. So people think they are a rock python or sand boa, which are non-venomous, and they try to handle them. There was a recent case in Bangalore, and a common guy tried to catch a snake, which is thinking that is a rock python, but he was bit by the snake and he died. So you can clearly see there is an a chain-like pattern on the body, and that's how you identify them. So I've been talking for a long time. I think I would have bored you hearing my sound. So now I would like you guys to tell me about what will you immediately do if a snake bites you.
The first thing you need to do is to calm down.
Okay.
Ask to hospital.
Okay.
To slow down your adrenaline flow, the first thing you do is to try and calm down.
Okay. I want answer from majority of the people now.
Wash it with a soap.
Okay, wash it with a soap. Good. Okay.
You immediately rush to a medical facility before taking any action yourself.
Maintain sanity.
First we have to clean. To clean the wound with water.
Okay, we have to clean the wound with water. Okay.
Then we have to tie at that area.
Okay, I was expecting this. Thank you.
To tie that area so that if at all the snake that has bitten you is venomous,
okay,
you don't let the venom spread to other parts of your body.
Okay.
So you need to calm down the victim and I think rush him to the medical facility before.
Okay. Thank you for your response. So now
we have to examine the that marks. Is it poisonous or not poisonous? We have to identify. Then depending on if we see the snake, depending that snake, we can take that injection, anti-serum injection and polyvenom injection.
Okay. Thank you. So now we'll see what are the right protocols and the not right protocols that should be followed. Thanks for the response. Okay. So before we get into it, I'll try to cover another topic where how to avoid snakes. So you guys might have questions about like snakes are coming into our home, or what to do to avoid snakes. Okay. Snakes come to places where they can find their food. So as you all might know, we are present in a country because we have food here, we have water facilities here, we have exact conditions for us to survive in this place. But if this place is not suitable for our survival, we'll keep moving to different places. So if snake find a place in your home that is suitable for it, because they are cold-blooded animals. If it's too hot or too cold, they'll try to go to like a perfect spot which can maintain their body temperature. And if they find a food in your premises, they might come near your home. So what to do when you see a snake? Never go near a snake or never touch it. Second one is if your kids are playing, or even if adults are playing, if teenagers are playing, and if there are bushes around you, please never put your hands inside a bush where you can't see clearly. Use a stick or any other like a thing to take a cork or a ball, whatever it is, whatever thing that has fell. Always use torchlight, even in cities or in rural areas and villages. When you walk, as we guys all have cell phones now, we have torchlights, and we can, it is essential to look down and walk when you walk in the night. So snakes, as I said, there is garbage, where there's food, someone comes for food there. That is a rodent. So in search of a rodent, the snakes come there. And that's how snakes are found near a home. So we have to keep the pathways clean so that you can see what is there when you're walking, so that you don't stump on snakes in day or in night as well. Use proper footwears when you're going for trekking, hiking, all sort of stuff, or also farmlands possibly. Even if you're sleeping on a bed or on the ground, use a mosquito net, tie it on four sides, tie it on the four sides, try to tuck it under your mattress or under your bed. Okay, it helps. These are preventive measures. They are not like completely they can help you from snake bites, but these are preventive measures which can help you to prevent snake bites. So, sorry, I have attached a few gifts. So from our snake bite videos, the first one would be like keep your home rat free. That is, keep your home clean so that rats don't come. Keep try to catch them and leave them outside so you don't welcome snakes into your home. And always be careful when you play. You have to see where you keep your hand. Use things to take things when you're playing outside. Use mosquito nets. You can see guys tucking when he's sleeping in the ground, tucking his mosquito net under his mat. Then keep the pathways clean. And finally, use a torchlight. Okay. So what to do when you spot a snake? As we saw earlier, never try to go near the snake or catch it. Okay, because it's safe for the snake as well as the consideration of safety of you. Call the nearby forest department range. Always try to have the near forest department range so you can contact them for any rescue purposes such as snakes, wild birds, etc. So never try to catch it or kill it. So you might think you might try to save the snake by catching it, leaving it outside. If it is a venomous snake, it might cause the snake to stress, and in its defense, it can bite you, and in your defense, you can kill it. So you can please never go near the snake to catch or kill it. Keep a safe distance from it. Okay, never gather around the snakes. So if you see snakes, call to a local snake rescuer or the forest department range who can help you. Keep a distance from it. Keep an eye on it until they come. Okay, and only if the snake is inside or no. If they are around their home, try to have an eye on it and call and ask suggestion from the local snake rescuer or the forest department what to do if they're found in the premises. So never try to chase or attack the snake. And most important reasons why should we not kill snakes? So first of all snakes are protected under the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Like how you can see, tigers are protected, birds are protected, parrots are protected. Such why all snakes are protected under the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. And hence, if you attack them and if you have them or if you have any part of them in your home, legal actions can be taken against you. And snakes play a vital role in balancing the ecosystem and hence snakes shouldn't be killed because they are beneficial to humans. They are beneficial. How they are beneficial? They feed on rodents that spread communicable disease. And the most important reasons I would say is by killing a snake, we open up a space for another potentially dangerous snake to move into the area. So snakes as well as territories. So usually snakes, try to prefer to hunt inside the territory area. So I'll say if it is a non-venomous snake. So now we know the non-venomous snakes that are found near your home. So these non-venomous snakes helps. They are beneficiary to you by doing pest control. They are not harmful to you unless you don't go and catch or hit the snake. Okay. So if you see a non-venomous snake, please let it go away as it's beneficiary to you. But if you're hitting a snake and killing it, you are opening up a place for another snake because possibly again a prey can come into that area. In search of the prey, another snake could become, which can be highly dangerous, such as a cobra or a Russell Viper, crate, etc. And that's why you shouldn't do that. So you guys told me what you should do and what what and all you should do, like tie a tourniquet, stay calm, go to the hospital, wash it. So these are the ideas that you are told. So we'll see what to do, then I'll tell you what not to do. So whenever a person gets bit by a snake, the first thing they should do is stay calm. Okay, they shouldn't panic. If they panic, the heartbeat will raise and the blood pressure will increase, and hence the venom in their bloodstream can transport all over the body and affect the person immediately. So practically speaking, even if I get bit by a snake, I'll panic. So we should try to keep the person as calm as possible. So while taking the person to the hospital, try to talk him away with his favorite topic or make him to listen to his favorite song, which practically helps them keep them calm, not thinking about the scenario. Okay. The second thing you have to do is keep the bitten part immobile. So let's say if a hand is bitten, so this part is bitten. So whenever you get fracture, you put a band. You tie a hand that you don't move your hand, right? So tie or put a cloth around your neck and hang your hand in there so that you don't move your hand. Because when you move your hand, there is movement in hand. There is movement. There is movement. There is blood flow, which can help the movement of venom inside your body. The next thing is ask for help. Okay, ask for help to the nearest. If someone's near you, ask help to them. If you're alone, call to your family and try to stay calm. And once your family comes, you can move from there. Try to remove tight ornaments that you're wearing, chain, ring, bangle. If you're wearing any, ropes around your hand, try to remove it. Okay, so I'll tell you why to remove it later. As soon as the person is taken to the hospital, they'll be given antivenom. And antivenom is the only way that a person can be snake if they are bit by a venomous snake. First thing is to stay away from the snake when someone gets bit by the snake. The second, as I told, it should be the bit part should be immobile. Even if it's a leg, don't try to give pressure on that leg and walk. Try to don't try to not lean that leg down and give pressure on that leg and walk. So what you should not do, you should not cut it with a blade. So usually what you've seen in movies, they cut the bitten part and try to suck out the venom. So now let it keep a little bit interactive. So you guys drink coffee, tea, and all kind of beverages, right? Do you think you can remove the whatever powder, like coffee powder or tea powder, or let's say boost or Bonvita, whatever mixing? Can you take it out of the milk after you mix it?
No, sir, we can't.
No, sir.
We can't, right? No way.
No, we can't.
So also venom is an liquid substance, so it's just like saliva. Like what saliva is to us, venom is saliva of snakes. So once it gets mixed in the bloodstream, it is highly impossible to suck it out because the blood keeps flowing and the venom is already got into your bloodstream, and it will be keep moving. And also there are possibilities if someone is sucking the blood, blood, so the venom particles in the blood can go into their mouth. So venom ingested doesn't cause any problem to people. I'm not telling venom can be ingested, but just in these scenarios, if they try to suck it, the venom particles in the blood might go into their mouth. And once when they try, it might go into their digestive tract. If they have any cuts or openings in their, intestine or in their somewhere in their internal organs, which can cause an effect on the person trying to help as well. Never tie a tourniquet, or I told you to remove, ornaments which are tight, like ring, bangle. If you're wearing any other, anklet or such and such things, why you should not tie is because venom. Once a snake bites, once a venomous snake bites, the immediate symptom will be swelling of that area. So if you're wearing a watch, ring, or a bangle, it can cause the venom to spread in a localized area. It keeps on spreading all over your body slowly, but it localized. So if it keeps spread in a localized area, the effect could be in that particular area, which helps that later, which will cause which will lead to amputation of that part of the body. Okay, and that's why and that's why we advise people to not tie a tourniquet and also remove all ornaments when you get bit by a snake. Okay, so immediately take them to the hospital. So if you are ask the person if they can identify how the snake looked, then you can tell it to the doctor, and that will help. Never try to attack the snake or take it with you, because it can another person might be possibly get bit by the snake. Okay, which will cause a lot of problem then. So antivenom is the only medicine which can help save the person. Okay, we're going into question session. Guys, I was telling you about antivenom. So this is how antivenom was produced from a couple of medically manufacturing companies in India. Okay, so venom is extracted. How antivenom is made is it is extracted from the venom of snake. That is the 4 venomous snakes that we saw in India. Though there are 60 plus venomous snakes in India, the venom is extracted from the big 4 venomous snakes that are found in India. Okay, these snakes are caught from 2 districts in Tamil Nadu. Okay, so that is Tiruvallur district and Kanchipuram district. The venom from the snakes are extracted. Then they are mixed in different proportions. The mixture of the different proportion is then injected in a certain amount of minute level into a potentially bigger animals such as a horse or mule, which can produce antibodies. And these antibodies, these antibodies are then collected. So these antibodies are collected and then they are made into powderized form. So they can be stored. They have a longer shelf value. So this is how antivenom they look like. And then they are mixed with this sterile water, and then they are given in different vials according to the amount prescribed by the doctor. So this is how antivenom vials are, and these antivenom vials are only available in the nearest government hospital. They are mandatorily available in all government hospitals. So before we get into the question session, I just want so now we can keep it a little bit interactive. We'll just finish it soon and we can have a discussion. So which one of these you think is a cobra? And the first question. B, yeah? Can you guys tell why B? What is B?
B.
B, sir.
It does not have the lines below its eyes.
Exactly. Good. Okay. Which one of the second question is a common crate?
Yeah.
Why would it be? Why would it be A?
The
Because
narrow
the white lines are
Near the tail.
They have narrow white band in their body. They have a full black body. They have narrow
white line.
Yeah, exactly. Great. Okay, then moving on to third question, which one of this one would be a saw-scale viper?
B.
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 Is it A or B?
Because of its S shape.
I
got the arrow on a head. Arrow mark on head.
Okay, that's how they can identify them. Great. Okay, which one of this is a Russell's viper?
A.
Sure.
Specific mark.
Okay, so they have coiled body. They have a chain-like pattern in their body.
Coin pattern.
So, what, do you guys know which one is the bee snake?
Sorry?
And boa.
Sand boa, exactly. Great. Okay, thank you for listening to me. So now we can have
Glad.
questioning session. You guys can jot me your questions. I'll try to answer it as clear as possible.
Okay, Peter, Girish here.
Hi, Girish.
Yeah, hi. So what if snake is in a defensive system, right? If it is ready to attack us, right? What we have to do? What is the precaution measures we have to take?
Yeah. So let's say. So that's why we are trying to. I told you about the preventive measures, like keeping the pathways clean. So we'll the preventive measures. We'll try to not go.
No, that is a preventive measure. What I'm saying is what the friend.
I'm getting. I'm trying to get you. So I'm just telling. So try to be calm as well as possible. So the snake doesn't attack you until you try to harm it. So it doesn't try to come to strike you like how dogs chase or monkeys try to attack people when they're agitated. Snakes don't do that. They try to escape that area as soon as possible. So try to keep as calm as possible and move away from the snake. So only when you try to attack the snake, it's going to keep attacking you back. Like for example, let me make it clear. If I'm trying to hit you, you'll try to hit me back, right?
Correct.
The short-tempered person. Yeah.
Correct. But there is the other way around. I heard. I'm not sure how far it is true. While they're putting their tongue out, right? They read the psychology of a human. I mean, they can sense, right? So I heard that the snakes act differently.
Snakes can be really.
If it is a single person or if it is a group, it totally acts in a different way. Is it true?
No, I don't think so. No, they don't. Saravanan?
According to the British answer, if you come near very close, it will give a warning. Even if you didn't notice that, and if you go, it will try to attack you. Unless until you get near to it, it will not attack. Once you hear its warning, and you need to get back. So that's why always used to say, when you are going in the forest area, you need to listen all the sensors. So you need to use all the sensors. Every snake will give at least 2 to 3 strikes before it's going to attack.
Okay.
If you go close to the snake only, if you get into its area, it feels that you are going to be a problem to it, then only it will attack.
Okay. Yeah, I hope
I have a question.
Sir,
I
have a question.
Okay, Aditya, yeah, you were asking earlier. Yeah, tell me.
Sir, are worm snakes venomous?
No, worm snakes are non-venomous. So they're completely harmless.
Okay,
They're just like worms.
I have a question.
Sir, I have one question.
Can you see?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm working on a project right now. I'm working with the Arunachal Pradesh Forest Department, and I'm designing a program for them for this Pake Tiger Reserve.
Okay.
So the objective of the program is to familiarize the people with the snakes found there, because there's no anti-venom made for the snakes in Northeast India. So the most of the anti-venom that goes to Northeast India comes from the snakes found in the mainland, and most of the anti-venom often doesn't work there. So my entire program is basically making people aware of how they can prevent human-snake contact, which is what you said, avoiding clutter and everything. Then second is, if they come in contact with a snake, what are the best practices? And the third is, if they're bitten by a snake, then what are the best practices? So my question is there any, are there any set practices which are, universally followed and which have to be followed, which I can refer to? Because over there, most of the people, they live in villages, so they don't have access to that much technology to actually get information about how the snakes look and whatnot. So, do you have any suggestions for this?
Okay, so on my experience of what I worked with people such as in the rural areas and with hospitals, I can tell you on my experience. So these antivenom is, for this big four snakes only. They are not available for all the snakes.
Yeah.
So yeah, but work has been going on. So Madras Crocodile Bank Trust with scientists have been working on working with government in setting like herpetarium. I mean places where snakes are collected. All different kinds of collected in between snakes or something. Where antivenom is produced for all kind of snakes. So they have been working on that. But in the meanwhile, the only antivenom that is available is this. So the doses, the wild doses might vary. So the only thing they can do is follow the measures that have been mentioned, and they should be taken to the nearest hospital. So that is the only possible way. But other thing to like prevention is better than cure. So trying to prevent them, we have to work with the people. So I worked in a project where we try to work with the farmers. So farmers usually don't use gumboots when they work in the farm fields. So we've been trying to study like how these gumboots have helped them. So actually, it was a 6-month study and it helped a lot. So they can be provided with gumboots and they should be given a lot of awareness. Awareness plays a very major role on how to identify snakes so that they can keep away from them, like torchlights, use of torchlights and, use of mosquito nets as well. So we provided them with personal protection equipment, that is the gumboots and so. But also, Crocodile Bank has been working with some other people on, manufacturing snakebite, let's say snakebite-proof footwear. Maybe in the future, it can help people who are in the rural area, who work in the forest department. And
So that's what, so the forest department in Arunachal Pradesh, they were trained by this person called Mr. Jerry Martin.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I've been in touch with him also. So he was saying that there is a team that he in Arunachal Pradesh in Pake Tiger Reserve who can rescue snakes, but the problem is that the villagers don't contact them. So do you think?
Okay. So the main thing that we could do is like what to say, create bonds with people. Like we have to go listen to their stories. We have to understand them. I mean, like emotionally contact with them. Then we have to provide them with facts and informations and like how we can help them. So not only by words, just because I go and tell people you have to follow this, it's not going to help them. But if we can collect funds and provide them with materials and which can provide like results in the field, that will make them trust more, and even people in their community will start buying these things which can prevent them from snake bites. So that's how it has been worked in the field that I work.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
How poisonous are sea snakes in coastal area? Do snakes increase in the sea where there is aquaculture of prawns?
Yeah, ma'am. So major of the sea snakes are highly venomous snakes, and we don't have antivenom available for sea snakes as well. So yeah, snakes are highly dangerous, and also snakes are venomous. Just to correct the term, snakes are not poisonous; they are venomous. So to differentiate between venom and poison is venomous when a toxic substance is injected into our body, it affects us. A toxic substance injected into the body and affects us, it's venom. And when a poison is a toxic substances when it's touched or on your skin or if you lick it, yeah, then it affects you. It's called poisonous. Yeah, so sea snakes are really dangerous, and we don't have antivenom for it. So the only antivenom that has been used is this polyvalent antivenom. So we don't have monovalent antivenoms. So if you guys might ask, like, so what do we know? We don't know the snake. So how do we go and tell the doctor what snake bit? So they'll take a blood test. So they'll take a 20-minute whole blood clotting test. So they'll take the blood of the person, and observe it for a couple of intervals to see how the blood is clotting. Depending on it, with symptoms, they'll start treating with antivenom. So you also don't treat non-venomous snake bites with antivenom, because snake antivenom is taken from an foreign body such as a horse or a mule, which can have side effects in the side effects of the person who is treated with antivenom. So they can't be treated. No one will be treated with this thing. And someone asked the question, let's say with the bite marks you can identify a snake. That is not completely true. So yeah, obviously venomous snake have fang marks, that is like two teeth marks, which can be exactly reliable in other countries, but not in our countries. Not in our country, I mean. So because the snake bite can vanish sometime if the bite is prominent and deep enough, such as a Russell viper bite. But a concrete bite might not. You cannot see the mark. I mean, they can vanish away. It can be like a thorn scratch or something like that. So it differs. I think I answered your question as well as ma'am.
Sir, can you repeat the difference between poison and venom?
Yeah, so venom is toxic substance. So venom and poison are both toxic substance. But toxic substance is when it's injected into your body. Let's say by a bite. So bite is like venom has snakes and lizards. There are two types of lizards which has venom. One is a Komodo dragon. Okay, that is the largest lizard on the world, and there is another lizard. So when these lizards bite, that can cause an effect. Poisonous frogs can be poisonous. Okay, so when someone touches a frog or accidentally keeps it in their skin or in their mouth, and that can affect them, and that is poisonous.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
One minute. Sorry for the interruption. We are just posting the feedback form in chat box, as well as we'll post in the WhatsApp group also. So kindly give your feedback, so we can have this interaction session going on. So before that, please fill the form. Thank you so much. Thank you. Please go ahead. Ask your question.
Peter sir, the polyvalent antivenom. Peter, the polyvalent antivenom. Is it effective for the king cobra bite? The one that we are producing here, the polyvalent.
Yeah. So
is it effective for the king cobra bite?
I'm not sure how effective it is, but I think doctors might try to use it because that is the only available option. But also, there are very less incidents of king cobra bites of what I've heard and read about it. And also, these king cobras are really big snakes, and it is unless you want to go and get bit by the snake.
Very true. Yeah, because there have been incidents now that they are nesting, close to villages. A few nests have been found in and around the villages. So, are we depending heavily on the Thailand antivenom?
I'm not sure about. Maybe I can get back to you about it. I'm not sure about it.
Yeah, because the Thailand antivenom now is. I mean, there is a marked difference between the species of the Thailand king cobra and the Indian king cobra.
Yeah, exactly.
So, if we were depending on the Thailand antivenom, then there is again a sort of a mismatch there in terms of bringing the patient back with the king cobra bite, which is in the country.
Okay. Thanks for bringing it up.
In MPS, So you're producing some amount, I think, in India, right?
I don't have a clear idea of it because I don't want to give you a wrong answer. Maybe I can check on it.
Kausali, somewhere in I think that Central Research Institute of India, I think they're making an attempt to manufacture some amount of antivenom. But what I understand is at the moment we don't have king cobra antivenom in the country.
No, it is not being produced. So
not yet.
Also, the venom is being extracted only in one part of the country, that is by the Irla Snake Catcher Cooperative Society, that is placed with the Madras Crocodile Bank Park and the ECR Road in Chennai. Okay. So the only possible thing that has been majorly practiced all over India and also the neighboring countries is the antivenom that is produced in India. So because you brought this differing of the snake venom type and the Thailand and Indian species, also I've talked to you about only the big four species. The big four also has subspecies such as in the northmost you can find monocle cobra. There is also we saw about common crate, but there is banded crate, there is black crate, there is two types of soft scale viper, and also the venom, the venom toxicity and the components of the venom varies depending on the geographical location, location, also the feed that they take. So a lot of studies and work has been going on. So it is, hopefully we try to produce antivenom in the next couple of decades, which can be life-saving.
So at Agumbe, at crocodile banks and other things, you are not extracting venom presently for clinical trials.
There are a lot of studies being
the
done
agency.
with government permissions. Yeah, there have been short, but it is not being produced, for distributing in the medical.
Once it's successfully
venom has been
finished field
extracted
trials,
for
then
a
it may
lot
be
of.
manufactured.
Yeah, definitely. Venom from king cobras has been extracted for study purposes and also for experiments. With
The reason why I asked is because the even though the bites are few and far in between, the dose is very lethal.
Yeah.
The dose that it delivers is so lethal. That's why, I mean, to 100% you need antivenom for a king cobra bite, because the quantity puts. Yeah, so I was saying that because of the quantity of antivenom that he injects, if he's disturbed or whatever it is, it's enough to knock down an elephant. So for humans, we have very little time when it comes to a king cobra bite.
Definitely, yeah. So thanks for bringing it. And also I want to bring another important point regarding to antivenom. So when a person gets bit, I'll prefer and advise you to go to the nearest government hospital such as Taluk or Medical College Hospital, not primary health centers, because all health centers should have antivenom. So even though primary health centers may have antivenom, they don't have the facilities, to treat snake bite, because they'll have to take you for a 20-minute whole blood clotting test, and once after that, if they confirm with the symptoms it's a venomous snake, they'll give you the polyvalent antivenom, and once the antivenom is given into your body, you might have side effects, and if side effects comes, it can be various type of side effects, and primary health centers don't have facilities to treat side effects. So only a taluk will have, taluk has about to a certain limit that they can treat snake bite, and once they can't take care, when they don't have ventilators or anything, they shift the case to inject a couple of antivenoms which can help the person sustain for a couple of time, and they'll try to escalate the case to a government medical college where they treat it, and they have a separate ward for it, but they have this to treat these toxic bites and all.
And I have just one advice. I have one advice for everyone. Whenever anyone gets bitten by a snake and he goes to the hospital, in my personal experience also, he has to insist that the test be done.
Yes.
Because when I was working in Masnagudi and I was in the jungle, I thought I've been bitten thrice so far, one by cobra and twice by Russell viper. The bite was a dry bite, but the moment I reached the local hospital there, the doctor got things prepared to put me onto antivenom. But I insisted that he does the tests first, and after he did the test, 20 minutes later, he found that the blood was clotting. So I was fortunate, but somebody else may not be fortunate and be administered antivenom, even though it was a dry bite.
Exactly. So snakes can give. Mostly snakes try to avoid, injecting venom into you unless they are really stressed until scare the shit out of the snakes. So the snakes can as well as give dry bites, and that's why I told only when they take a blood test and confirm. So a lot of hospitals also, they don't know how to treat snake bites, and they also do sometimes they treat wrong. So so Bank along with other organizations have been trying to work with hospitals as well, trying to train doctors on how to treat snake bites. Like with experience, doctors have been treating snake bites for decades. So we are trying to train them. Train the unexperienced doctor with the help of them. Thanks for bringing such great points, Adrian.
Thank you so much.
Also, welcome. So Russell Viper also give dry bites. A couple of snakes can give dry bites. So we can't tell if it's a dry bite until you get tested, and depending on the system, symptom. So
Peter, in my case, I was actually showing the fangs to some of the guests, and the stick which I was holding the fangs broke, and the tooth went into my first finger. So he was not. He was already used to it, so he didn't inject any venom. So that's how the dry bite came for a Russell viper.
Okay, so the chances of dry bite is also that snake could have been, consumed a prey recently. So just like how when we eat, our saliva goes into our stomach and new saliva particles are produced. Such wise, when snakes feed on their, prey, they try to use their venom to, capture their prey, and they inject their venom into it. So sometimes they be out of venom. If they had a heavy meal, they might be out of venom, and it might take a week or a few days to, reproduce their venom through their venom glands. Any other questions?
Yeah, so there are a few questions on YouTube. So I'll just tell you those questions. So Smita Chintapalli ma'am, she wants to know, is it true that snakes on higher altitudes cannot have venom? So she has multiple questions. So yeah, so this was her
Okay, we'll
first
take.
question.
Okay, so yeah, so on higher altitudes there are mostly there we find pit vipers. There are like Himalayan pit viper, and there is like Malabar pit viper. I mean, like in higher altitudes. So there are a lot of types of pit vipers. So pit vipers are also venomous snakes. Yeah, they do have venom, but it depends from location to location.
Okay. So is milk an antidote to venom?
No, milk doesn't play any part in it.
Okay.
And also, yeah, okay, go on with the question next.
Are there any plants that keep the venomous snakes away?
No. No plants help. So the only best ways to avoid snakes is like the points that I mentioned earlier. So if you want to keep your home snake proof, if there are openings in your home such as windows, pipes that has openings to the terrace or inside your homes, you can pin them or attach them with mesh nets, which prevents snakes entering into it. Mosquito nets, you can tie it into your window pipes, which avoid snakes. And if there is branches which are joining your window or your terrace, you can just cut off the branches and not the tree, so that if you're afraid of snakes, unless they don't cause any problem to you.
Okay, so Mr. Arjit Datta, his question is there any particular protein present in pit viper venom which makes it different from the venom from elapids or rest of the viperids?
Sorry, I'm not sure about it. Yeah, but the venom components vary from snake to snake, and the proteins differ from snake to snake.
Okay, yeah, so
I'll go detail about it.
Okay, so these were the questions on YouTube.
Okay, I think Ritesh had a question, I think, before you started.
Hello, good evening, Peter, sir.
Yeah,
This is Albert speaking.
Yeah.
As you, and the thing is that you were showing the Antivenom, what's the company name, and is it available in outer regions also of India as well? I mean, or it's only in certain areas?
No, antivenom in developed countries they have monovalent antivenom. In India, we have a polyvalent antivenom, which means the antivenom is common for these big four snakes. But in developed countries such as Australia and America and all, they have monovalent antivenom for separate snakes. Let's say, let's take a random venomous snake. So they'll have an antivenom produced for that particular snake.
Okay. And what's the name of the company you're saying? The antivenom
we have a
bottle?
couple of manufacturers in India, and this one is marketed by Biological E Limited. It is Bino.
Could you repeat?
Biological E Limited. So it differs from.
Okay.
Yeah. So all the government hospitals have antivenoms, and the manufacturers might be different. And also we prefer to go to government hospitals because the antivenom is really costly, and if treated in a private hospital as well. And private hospital also hesitate to treat snake bites in case of results in a death.
Yes, that's true. About government hospitals only take care, antivenom.
And government hospitals.
The reason I asked you is that the reason I asked you is that because my sister was bitten by it. As such, it was I could not differentiate what it was. It was either a rat snake or a Russell's viper. But they had given the antivenom shop, and she had told about this.
Yeah. So what they usually do is they take this. This is common. This is common for everyone. So what they should do is first take an blood clotting test, that is 20 WBCH, whole blood clotting test, and only after that, depending on the clotting of the blood, they'll start. Depending on it and as well as the symptoms, they should start this thing as Adine's control. Okay. I hope it helps.
And how does the antivenom work on the body? How is it?
So it goes into
bloodstream.
So the antibodies are taken from a foreign animal. So these antibodies, when injected into bloodstream, they go and neutralize the venom that is injected into our body, and that's how it works. So and also there are to go in detail about it, and scientifically they also have side effects on the human body. So if a person is keep on getting, antivenom, let's say there is this unfamous guy called Baba Suresh who like completely does wrong protocols on catching snakes and spreading wrong of how to handle snakes to the youth. So this guy, I think he's got recently got bit by a Russell Cyper, and think I heard the doctor said if he gets bit anymore by a venomous snake, definitely he'll die because antivenom as well has have its own side effects, which can have its own effects on our body, like kidney failure and that kind of things.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all.
Thank you. I'm from Himachal. I didn't find venomous snakes, Yes, Himalaya could have a few mildly venomous snakes to exist. I live in altitude.
Hi, Peter. I have one question. So there was a gentleman who talked about dry
bite. Yeah.
Yeah. So if a person is administered antivenom by incorrectly, how long would that be to be safe, and what needs to be taken care of?
So yeah, if it's a dry bite and they're administered with antivenom, they might have side effects. Definitely, I think so. So if they are having side effects, and if the hospital has facilities to treat them, they'll try to treat it with other medical facilities. If not, they'll escalate the case to like a medical college, and where they'll treat it, and that can really help and sort of.
Okay, thank you.
But if an antivenom is treated in a primary health center for a dry bite, it is really difficult until you get the person to time on a hospital.
Okay, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Hi, sir. This is Naren.
Hi, Naren.
Yeah, I'm from Tirulur actually.
Okay.
Okay, like you say, like when you're telling, you told that venom is extracted from Tirulur and Tiruvannamalai, right? Is there any special reason for it? I mean, for the antibiotic?
No, I mean no, it is not special reason. I mean the government has been given permission to the areas to extract snakes from those two districts only, and that's why.
Oh, okay. Fine.
So yeah, so they don't go around all over the year catching snakes in those districts. So they have a certain time to catch the snakes. They have a couple of months, and they have a number of how many snakes they should catch this year. They have a target to achieve.
Okay.
So depending on it, they'll catch the snakes. They'll keep the snakes for a couple of months. So they milk twice in a month or so, depending. So the venom keeps producing once it's been extracted after a certain time, and that's how it happens.
Okay, fine. And one more query. Actually, I'm from a farming family only. Okay. I have like lots of farm here.
Okay.
Like my wish is whenever people see here, right? Whenever they see a snake, the first thing they do is they will just hit and kill it. That's it.
Okay.
So what I want to do is I want to learn snake catching, at least save snakes here, which is like around me.
So yeah.
So where do I start?
Yeah. So I think a lot of people are interested in catching snakes. That is a really good thing. Good initiative for you to save snakes and all. But the first thing that I'd prefer and or how I started, let me also tell that. So the first and most important thing would be giving awareness to people, to tell them about how to differentiate them, how to to increase our knowledge about snakes, how to identify them, what to do, what not to do, what to do when they are bit by a snake and all. And yeah, so first let's get educated about it. So to get educated, what can you do? If you ask, you can reach out to herpetological organizations such as Madras Crocodile Bank, Agumbe. They have another center in Agumbe called the Agumbe Rainforest Research Center. Then there is Snake Park in Chennai. So you can try to volunteer in these kind of places, and you can try to work with them. And gradually, once you know about them, then with the contacts there, then they can help you. Helping you to get trained to catch snakes and all. So unless you're trained, I'd advise none of the audience, because you just attended a session to identify snakes, never go near snakes or touch them. But you can learn more about them by these organizations, and once you learn from there, definitely you get opportunities, where you can get yourself trained to handle snakes as well. And handling, yeah. So there's an important point. Snakes doesn't need to be handled much. I mean, the more awareness should be created on how we should learn to cohabit with venomous snakes as well. So the theme is ecological restoration. So we have destroyed almost all niches in our country. I mean, from snakes to birds to frogs and everything. So we have to restore it. So we have to learn how to live with these animals. So we have taken places from the wildlife and we have destroyed it. So now we have to learn to stay with the morals. Which effect is going to be on ourselves as well. So I hope I answered the question, Naren.
Yes, actually, I'm following up Crocodile Bank, and like I don't know the exact person or
Yeah,
like,
so right
how do I
now
want
there
to
is
contact.
no opening, but yeah, just keep in touch, keep following them in their social media handles, and once this pandemic is over, they might open for volunteering thing. So once it's when people are vaccinating, it's no problem. And
Yeah,
our
okay, fine.
snakes, okay, I'm sorry. Can a bite from a mildly venomous snake kill a human? Yeah, so there is this snake called the Froston's cat snake, which is also a mildly venomous snake. So if a young or a old person gets bit by this snake, there are chances of that person dying. But apart from that, the common cat snake and vine snake, they might have side effects. Ritesh, I think I answered a question. Then are snakes revengeful? No, no animal is revengeful. To be true, only humans we have this capacity to think and take revenge on or counter our humans or any other animal. No animal is revengeful. There is a myth snakes are primitive vertebrates. They won't recognize people. Okay, thanks, Yagnapati, for replying to it. So, can you tell us about particular and common features which differ a venomous snake from a non-venomous one? Yeah, I think you have to read more about them. I think you'll have to see, try to, even in the venomous snakes, these are common IDs, common identification that I taught you. So there are also like how we differ from, I mean, like how each of us differ in, the color of our skin due to the melanin pigment. Even snakes, sometimes they're albinistic snakes. There are venomous snakes which completely look different from how they should usually look. So these are major reasons that I advise you to not go near snakes or touch them, and they can really differ. And yeah, so we need to read more about them. We have to cite a lot of venomous snakes. You can follow a lot of people who take photographs of snakes. You can attend a lot of workshops conducted by the herpetologists, such as there is Bharat Giri, there is Jerry Martin, and there is in Crocodile Bank American for a team with Romulus Whittaker, and there is also Gauri Shankar in Kalinga Center for Rainforest Ecology. So these are places that you can has help to if you're interested in snakes. 20-minute testing procedure. So it's yes, Yagnapati.
Sir, is that any the snakes in the northeast region, like West Bengal and Odisha? It is believed that like a Russell's viper bite, the antivenom is not acting like not doing its part. Is there anything that the venomics of the snake is changing, something like that?
Yeah. So as Adrian was already stating, and I was already stating, so the venom components vary from part to part. Even the Russell's viper is same as here in Orissa. I mean, like it's the same species. The venom components, there have been difference in venom components, and it's being under study now. And experiments have been going on how to produce monovalent antivenoms on milk snakes. And people at, I mean, like organizations have been working with trying to work with government and on a remedy for it. Some people snakes are allergic to garlic, cinnamon, etc. smells. No, it is not true. If there are rats and frogs, if there is any feeding item near a home that attracts the snakes, I'm sorry, definitely snakes would come. As you told about cat snake and ant snake, can a person die from a Himalayan pit viper bite? The pit viper bites are really painful. There could be possibilities. I'm not 100% sure unless there is a death earlier. But there are possibilities when not treated properly. People can die depending on their type of the immune system, their body condition, and all. I think it's more than half an hour. I think we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, before you end, I just want to tell another thing. So there is these two videos about snake bite and how to identify these venomous snakes and how to prevent snake bite in YouTube by the Madras Crocodile Bank page. Okay, so one video is called the 4 deadliest snakes. If you can note it down, okay, or you can note it down and also share it in the group if you're in the group. Okay, so there is 4 deadliest snakes in India by Madras Crocodile Bank Trust, and the other video is called Snake Bite. And also there is another video. If there is any rescuer who have attended this workshop for proper rescuing methods, there is a video called Snake Rescuer, the right way, I think. I'm not sure about the name, but you can check it in the Madras Crocodile Bank page. So if you're interested to know more about snakes, keep in touch with these herpetological institutions which can help you. Read more about them and about handling. Again, I want, because a lot of people are dying because they are doing, like they want to handle, but it's not the right thing. Less handling is much better. The experienced snake handler, snake rescuer beetling, less handling would be much better. So try not to handle as much as possible if you're a rescuer as well. Thanks for letting me talk on the session for Team Science Chronicle, and thank you all for joining this. I hope you spread this information to your friends and family as well.
Yeah, sure, sir.
And wind it up.
Yeah, we can wind up the session. So, okay. Peter, there is this one last question. I think we can take it. And if there are still any more questions, Peter will be there in the WhatsApp group also. So you can ask questions. And if you're fine, Peter, please share your contact details so that people can approach you if there are any further queries, because we need to, it's more than 90 minutes. So I think we can end this with this last question.
Okay. Is there a provision of any kind of compensation? Yeah. Okay. So is there a provision of kind of compensation by the government if a person dies due to snakebite? Yeah, there is. Okay. So it depends from state to state because I've been worked in Tamil Nadu and there's a quoting for every state, and in Tamil Nadu they give you around 50,000. But yeah, it has you have to do kind of a lot of follow up, and you have to know what the scheme is so that you can get the compensation. So for every wildlife impact, I think you have a compensation, and for snakebite as well, you have a compensation. And Tamil Nadu it's 50,000, and maybe you can check with the scheme, checking with the local government party or with the forest department. I mean, like, if you can get in touch with the forest department, they can help you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody who have joined us today. And thank you so much, Peter, for accepting our invitation and giving a very brief and, a topic which is much needed and a topic which is not much known to people. So I think it was much useful to all of you. So, thank you once again.
Thank you, sir. This is a very grateful session for us.
Thank you, Peter. Fantastic session.
Thank you.
Sci Chronicle.
Thank you.